Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jill.
And we're
HipStrings.
Welcome to day 8 of the Base12 2025 Spinalong. I always feel like there's something else I need to say at this point.
No, there isn't.
There's something you need to say. What's the fiber for day 8?
Day 8. Let me get my bag.
Oh, God. Where'd my die go? I saw it. Oh, there it is.
Ate it.
I left it on the floor. Aha.
Day 8 is Moonstone.
You move your spindles back over here.
So Moonstone is the signature blend that's been in the shop on and off for a while. It is 50% merino wool, 25% baby alpaca, 12.5% tussah silk, and 12.5% viscose from bamboo. I'm giving the thumbs up to Chris.
I just want to see something here. Are we on the right one? There's nobody here.
There's nobody here?
Where's everybody?
Where is everybody? I double checked and that was like the right day and time. There we go. There's people.
Haha.
They exist.
You get scared when you guys don't say anything. We need validation.
Yes, we do. So much.
And I am spinning day 5 today.
You want to remind them what day 5 was?
Yes, I do. Day 5 was Clementine, which is 80% Targhee, 10% Tussah Silk, and 10% Viscose from Bamboo. I had to move my wheel for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's in the wrong place. Everything's terrible.
Booby traps.
There we go.
I do what I have to in order to win.
To win?
I've got a fleece to show off. So.
Yeah, you don't get to show it off if you don't have the spare time.
If I don't win.
Yeah.
You guys all want to see the fleece, right? It's that fleece I was talking about.
Lee says it's beautiful. Amy says, hi, I'm here. Becky says, I'm here. Crankycraft says, hello. Stacy says, hi, guys. Kathleen says, here, just distracted. Seesaw says, hello. Amy says, my chat is not terribly chat-friendly. Or my setup is not terribly chat-friendly. Granny Nurse says, I'm here. Missed last night as I was at my granddaughter's basketball game.
I hope they had a great game.
Did they win? Well, I guess having a good game is more important than winning, but...
Yes.
Laura Linneman says, hi, all. Lee says, fleece.
Oh, this looks
Becky
so nice
says,
up against the gunmetal from last night.
I had Moonstone in a sample a while back. It is beautiful. And Lee also says fleece. Or says fleece again, I guess. Yes.
See, they're just here for the fiber.
You know, Oh, Granny Nurse says, yes, they won. Congrats. I know it's a cliche, you know, play for enjoying, not for winning.
Yeah.
But when you grow up with incredibly competitive friends and family related to board games, I very much live by the play to enjoy the game, not to win, because, oh my God, how to phrase this? The incredible lengths that sometimes people will go through to win is not worth fighting. It's more worth having the fun.
Yeah.
And
we play a lot more cooperative games now.
Yeah, well, and so it's transitioned the way I play games. If I'm terribly winning in a board game, like really beating the other person, I'll try and coach them on how they can beat me. And I was doing that with some of my other friends, where I was playing my friend and Christopher and me were playing a board game. And I started coaching Christopher on like things he might want to think about doing to be able to beat me. And my friend was like, what are you doing? You could destroy him. And I'm like, yeah, he's 10. Like, He's not going to learn just by losing. He's going to learn by learning strategy.
Says the person who completely screwed me over in a game of diplomacy because I made the complaint that things weren't interesting. You made things interesting.
Made things interesting. It was your request. I was being very friendly up until then.
You were being very friendly.
Which is how I was able to screw you over.
Yeah.
And then we had to get rid of that game because Jill refuses to ever play it ever again.
Yeah. I didn't know you would have my back all the time.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for is the lesson you should have learned there.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're mentioning that this Moonstone looks really good against the gunmetal.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Clementine looks really good against the gunmetal too. So
gunmetal must be a good neutral.
Gunmetal is a very good neutral. Also, these are really bright.
Yes.
And so while gunmetal is a good solid neutral, it is such a high contrast. And Joanne says, OMG, today's fiber is so lovely to spin. Yeah, and this is a regular signature blend, right?
Yeah. Though the gemstones are all going to get discontinued. Because basically for now, all signature blends that have any silk in them are getting discontinued.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that will basically just leave me with Bowie. So I was thinking I might bring back some of my wool-only blends, which I don't usually do wool-only blends, but I think I might bring back. Because I used to do like 100% Corriedale blends. And those have been popular in the past.
Blend if it's 100% Corriedale?
It's different colors.
Oh, okay.
So like Warm Wool and Mittens was 100% Corriedale. And there was stuff like Bicycle Heaven and Flannel Pajamas, and there were ones over the years. I was thinking I might bring those back.
Donna says, sad to see the gemstones go. I love them. But it's a tariffs thing.
Yeah.
They would be
they already were getting pricey. And now they would have to be even pricier.
Yeah. Laura says, yay, wool only. Warm wool and mittens, exclamation point.
Yeah, I know people who really like the wool only blends. Some people are not a big fan of silk.
And Crankycraft says, sorry if you already did this, but what's the sitch on the knits tonight?
So Nick is wearing a Men's Ease by Alicia Plummer in some hand-spun Rambouillet.
And I knit this mostly while in chemo.
Yes. The dyer was Homestead Hobbyist, who is sadly no longer dying. And then I don't have a knit. I have a woven and it is not hand, but I just returned from shopping trip, which started off at Gab and I's favorite thrift store, where I picked up this lovely 100% cashmere scarf for $3. And part of the
wonderful condition.
In perfect condition. And so my favorite game to play with Gab at the thrift store was feel this, guess the textile. And Gab guessed right.
Nice.
I was like, here, feel this. Because I saw it and I'm like, I think that's cashmere. And I felt it and I was like, I think this is cashmere. And then I found a tag that said cashmere.
This is the same thrift shop where you found the giant stash of yarn, right?
Yes. I got like a modern daily knitting Rowan felted tweed blanket kit for like $30.
Yeah.
And some other really nice wools for like $1 a ball. And we often get a lot of vintage. Gab and I both wear a lot of vintage clothes because we both prefer to wear natural fiber and we want clothes that are well constructed. And that more often than not means vintage. And it's much more affordable.
Craft says, that's literally how I always shop for clothes. at the thrift. It's feel first, look second.
Yep. Gab got a jacket.
Oh.
But
Another one?
It's a special jacket.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Bob Mackie designer jacket.
Okay.
Which is a famous 80s designer.
Okay.
And I made them try it on because they were ready to bring it home without even trying it on. I made them try it on, and once I saw it on them, I was like, okay, you have to bring it home. It looks really good on them.
Yeah, but how many coats and jackets do they have, Jen?
I don't know, but this is a historical fashion piece, so...
We're not running a museum here.
Maybe someday.
Maybe. Talking about your historical
Gab will
tuxedo.
Yes, Gab will be our curator. We will start the Duarte Fashion Museum.
Well, this is also coming from somebody who, when you see crochet doilies, you were like, but they're so pretty. I can't just leave them abandoned here.
Yes, and I got to the point where now they have to show off a particular technique. So I have particular different types of lace that I'm collecting. And like the latest piece was a piece of what's called Quaker lace, which is a machine made, but it's machine made specifically to look like filet crochet.
What's filet crochet?
It's a type of crochet where it's kind of like pixel art.
Okay.
As if the blocks were blocks of 3, like usually double or triple crochet stitches. Okay. And then open spaces. So it's crochet pixel art.
Nice. Well, you know what you need to do now.
What?
You need to do like a Super Mario doily or something.
You convinced Gab to do that. They're the ones who do the crochet lace.
Right.
They were telling me about how they've been working on their crochet lace project in class. I was like, how does that go? They're like, I just memorize each round. And then I don't have to really pay attention to it.
And then you just memorize the next round because it's so simple to memorize a round like that.
Oh, to have functioning brain cells.
Yeah, it took me quite a while to memorize the pattern on the cowl that I'm working on. It's not even that difficult of a pattern. But I guess I have an excuse with chemo brain.
Yeah.
And Donna notes they need to be well dressed for textile school.
That is
which is true, but it's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
Gab can have a different coat every day of the month.
Yes. Though I was telling Gab about my finding the pro polyester folk on Threads this morning.
Okay, you got to rewind a little bit about that and explain what you were ranting about to me this morning.
Yeah. My conversation with Nick was like, I think there's people I think the polyester lobby found out that, people are on this whole natural fibers kick. And they're starting to plant pro polyester statements on the internet. Because I found this thread on Threads that was, be like, oh, all these people with their natural fibers, they don't know, there's stuff that polyester can do that natural fibers can't do. And, if you really want easy care clothing that's going to last 5 to 10 years and not get eaten by moths and has moisture wicking properties and all this stuff.
And they're talking about how it's better to hold structure.
Better to hold structure and drape. And, there were fashion students that were like, well, I put polyester in my garments on purpose. And it was all this very pro polyester.
And it's like, who?
And I'm just
who
like,
are you talking to, people?
Why are you so upset that people want to go back to natural fibers in their clothes?
I'm spinning much more thin, but much more consistently with this one. Crankercraft notes, I can barely memorize ribbing.
Yeah. So I was telling Gab about this, and
Okay,
Gab's basically if I run into somebody like that at fashion school, I will take them out. And they're like, would you be mad if I got kicked out of FIT for getting in a fight with somebody about polyester?
Yes, I would be mad about that. Little bit proud, but also mad. Yeah, no, it's well. At first, I was thinking like, why does the polyester lobby have to lobby, right? Like, it's not like they're having a huge reduction in sales, but then you noted
There's
that
starting to be a huge shift towards natural fibers in higher end fashion, and customer preference for natural fibers. The price for wool has finally like gone up for the first time in a decade, and not just like fine merino, but like all wools.
so maybe there's a reason for them to be trying to convince people. But what I thought was the most ridiculous one you told me about was right in the middle of all this fashion discussion, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, and polyester is the only material that's
used for artificial
by the FDA for artificial arteries."
Yeah.
It's like, great. I wasn't planning on making artificial arteries out of wool.
I don't have a problem with synthetic materials in general. They have their place. But
yeah,
it's just weird to be anti-natural fibers. Like whole hog, like I don't know. And I admittedly, there's times when I use acrylic and, you know, I'll use synthetic stuff. But
sorry, I was trying to gasp, but then I realized I can't. Joanne notes, I may have just placed an order for a bunch of gemstone fibers.
Thank you. Less stuff to count at the end of the year.
Yeah, and you know, like Jill said, whatever's in the shop for the gemstones now is it. Right?
Is what there's going to be.
So let's hope you counted it right.
So Nick and I bought a record player last Christmas, right? Has it only been a year?
Yeah.
That we really got into vinyl. And like we were just starting to get in knowing that, you know, specialty vinyls and stuff. And I was all,
oh my God, you give me an album that I like already, but it's with a vinyl that is not black, like instant sale, right?
But there was a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted, but I like put off because I'm like, I cannot buy all the records. And I put off, and I went back to like try to buy them this year, and I can't.
Yeah.
Because they're all out of print.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shoot. I have a new obsession that if I see something I want, I have to buy it. And I usually don't give in to like scarcity, but
yeah. Laura says, last push of purchasing for the HipStrings along. And Amy says, Broadway is starting to drop some really, really cool vinyl releases, but we don't have a record player. I will say there are lots of affordable record players out these days. Don't get the cheapest ones because they'll actually have
they'll damage your
needles
vinyl.
that'll damage the vinyl. I mean, not a whole lot, but if you're wanting to make sure you keep your vinyl for a long time, you definitely want to go a little bit higher.
But there's been so much joy in going back to listening to an album and having to flip the record and
so
slowing down on purpose.
I don't know what it says about me and my age or the what's the word? The level of technology that my parents had. My parents were always at the front end of technology. I will preface with that. But then the first way that I had to control the music I was listening to was with our family record player. We could listen to the radio, I didn't really have any tapes or anything, but I had records that I enjoyed. Alvin and the Chipmunks, and this is back when the newspaper would sometimes come with records, which is such a bizarre concept these days, right? And so I have this just joy of the ritual of choosing something to listen to, putting the album on, and listening. And there is the added aspect that, like, now with Spotify, at least for me, it's pretty rare to listen to an album straight through. So the records actually bring that back. But then there's some other really cool things that we're just learning about that only records can do. So Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, I had that on a CD. And the last track of the CD is this cacophony of sounds that repeats a couple of times, and then it stops. So the first time I'm playing this record, it plays that cacophony of sounds, and it repeats, and it repeats, and it repeats, and it kept going longer, because I'd listened to this CD a million times. But the record kept on going because it was, the record was set up in such a way that it would skip back to the beginning of that track.
So you had an infinite loop.
So you had an infinite loop, which is not something you could do with any other form of technology. Yeah. And then we learned yesterday about records that have double tracks, that depending on where you start on the perimeter, you can actually have a different experience. So there's some pop albums that one of the tracks has all acoustic versions of the regular songs, and the other ones have the radio versions of the songs. And it's basically random which one you hear. So there's some of these neat extra experience things that it's not just the crazy audiophile aspect of it, but there's actual things you can do with records you can't do with anything else.
And also because I go to thrift stores, finding old stuff dirt cheap. Because usually you can get records for like $1, the old ones. And I've gotten almost most of my favorite classical pieces on vinyl now. But we've also found stuff like, there's one I got that's a thing for like the bicentennial. Mm-hmm. So it was published in 1976, and it's like sound bites from like all these famous speeches and stuff throughout American history. That it was this like commemorative record. We have
my favorite thing to find in record stores now is records that were sold with appliances. So I don't remember what the brand name was, but it's called Now You're Cooking with Gas. And it's a bunch of really good instrumental songs to cook with your new gas stovetop.
Yeah.
There's one I almost bought, which was but it was scratched, so, which was the Singer Sewing Machine Christmas album. I mean, like, what a concept! I love it, and they're actually very, very good. And it's sort of an offshoot of something called the Industrials, which were musicals produced by large corporations like GE and PPG
and John Deere, and
that they would use these musicals only as internal presentations for their corporation
at like sales conferences.
Yeah, to teach their own salespeople the new products that are coming out and things like that. And these would be written by famous Broadway people on the off season. So, I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole to.
There's a great documentary about this.
Yeah. Laura Lindemann.
I think it's called Bathtubs in Broadway.
Okay. Laura Lindemann notes Cereal Box Records Maybe that was a thing. I still have.
You have an Alf one,
I have
right?
an Alf record, Cooking with Alf, that came with. Oh God. It came with the Alf puppet that I got from Burger King. I have to see if we can find the Alf puppet. But anyway, Amy says, my old 5-disc CD changer is at the lake, and I really enjoy that. As a kid, I'd buy vinyl and immediately record it on a cassette, and then I'd wear out the cassette, and my vinyl is still pristine, assuming I knew where it was now.
Yeah, I've been trying to hunt down a CD player. I think we have like an old CD boom box from high school that's around somewhere, and I might need to see if I can get it up and running. Because we still have our binders of CDs.
Yeah. Oh, I feel so cheated though, because the that whole thing you discovered in terms of 4K DVDs, you can't play on a Blu-ray player. I thought we were done with this crap and not having backwards compatibility, but no. You have to introduce another format. Joanne says, I bought a record player / CD player / recorder specifically so I could digitize a vinyl album from the 70s. My brother sang on it. He passed away in 79.
Aww.
I can hear his voice anytime I want on my phone. Oh, that's wonderful.
Fabulous.
And it's good that you converted it digitally, because as Amy noted, tapes degrade.
Yeah.
And not only do they degrade by playing them, but they degrade just
by sitting around.
Sitting around, because the way audio cassettes were made was there was a film, think of Mylar?
Yeah.
Where they then glued magnetic powder to it. And that glue was not intended to last very long. Which is why I think it's so hilarious that they were really trying to push this next generation to, oh yeah, go back to cassette players.
Oh yeah.
And you can find all these old cassettes, and I'm just thinking,
no,
yeah, and they're all destroyed by now. So
yeah. Well, it's like I'm interested in seeing our CDs are still good.
The CDs
I've heard
in general
that
should be
some
good.
CDs
Some
have some rot.
I'm just waiting for everybody to bring back mini disc players.
But I don't think that's ever going to happen, Nick. The factories to make those probably don't exist anymore.
Well, the proper response should have been, you can't bring them back if they were never really a thing to begin with.
That's true.
Amy
bring
says,
back some zip discs too.
Yeah, right. What, the 100 or the 250?
The 256.
Amy says, there's some good standalone CD players out there now. I have one on my radar for home if I can catch a good sale. I have a really good Sony Walkman that I got when I last was in Japan, and for some reason it won't start up.
Yeah, and we even bought new battery.
Yeah. Joanne still has a mini disc player / recorder. I used to record guitar lessons way back when. Yeah, mini disc was
You're
awesome.
not alone.
Right?
Now remember, I think that was the Clementine the one that took me forever, or was it Maraschino?
Yes.
Both.
Yes. No, I'm just spinning it so thin right now.
Yeah, isn't it nice to spin?
It is. It wants to spin thin. It's going very well.
It's okay. It's going to poof a bit when it gets finished.
Yeah, you were already on your second half.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
We're going to get to talk about
that
fleece so much, yeah.
Which, should we talk about something fiber related, not just about records?
We talked about some fiber stuff.
Yeah.
Shall we talk about the Pittsburgh weather? Because the last 24 hours have been kind of nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yesterday evening, I went out and very comfortably went out and, took stuff out to the trash. It was in the 50s, upper 50s. Then last night, I got woken up in the middle of the night by what seemed like a massive summer thunderstorm with high winds and pouring rain, which lasted like half an hour or so. Woke up, and then it started snowing. And then by the afternoon, we had a snow squall.
Which covered the roads.
And we're supposed to be back in like the 40s tomorrow.
Yep. C'est la vie.
So that was Pittsburgh for you today. Thankfully, I did shopping and stuff, and it wasn't too bad to drive around in. And
I guess the weather kept everybody away because
that was my hope.
You were saying that the mall was not super packed.
It was not super packed. Not as packed as I would have imagined it to be on Friday before Christmas.
Yeah. Amy notes that we woke up at 5 a.m. when the house was getting slammed with rain. It's been one hell of a weather day for sure. I saw a photo of a scaffolding that on a building that got completely destroyed by the storm
winds
last night, and it apparently there's cars underneath it,
Yeah.
and there was all sorts of windows and stuff
I don't
broken in
think
the building.
anybody was expecting that last night.
It's crazy. I think I may have heard it for a little bit, but I mostly slept through it. I get sleepy these days.
I wonder why.
Let's see. What else? What you talked about what knitting projects you're doing.
Yep.
Um,
I'm still doing.
we talked about my knitting projects. Joanne, by the way, notes similar weather in Michigan. I had 6 inches of snow in my yard 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the 40s and rained for 2 days. Also high winds. Today was back in the teens and snowing again.
Yeah, we also had the 6 inches of snow earlier this week, and then single digits Monday morning.
Yeah. Those plants you left out, I don't think they're surviving.
Oh, it should.
The ones in the hanging boxes?
Oh, no. Those were gone for a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you were talking about my Lenten rose.
Yeah.
Which I think I moved that into the garage.
You did. Before the teens.
Before the single digits.
Um,
Though the kids, like, when it was in the 50s, they were all like, this is too warm. It needs to go back to being cold again.
yeah.
So you can tell our kids do not mind the cold.
Our kids like the regularity of the seasons. In fact, I mean, that's what I love about living in Pittsburgh. We actually have seasons. I know a lot of people, especially ones who live out in California, they're like, no, can't deal with the cold. They will, I think my brothers made this statement, if I want snow, I will go skiing.
It's not the same.
Yeah, no.
There's a magic to living in a place where it snows.
And then I like Pittsburgh because we get it cold for long enough that you're just like, okay, I'm done with this. Can I have the warm now? And
Yeah.
the warm comes.
And it's fabulous.
Amy says her car was frozen to her driveway when she
Oh,
went to
gosh.
work on Monday morning. We actually had a problem with my car that there was the doors were frozen shut, so Jill had to go and grab some
When
rubbing
you can
alcohol.
tell that the car was designed by people who live in California.
Yeah. Well, we got some rubbing alcohol to spray on it. And it
Yeah,
cleared it
thankfully
right up.
we've learned how to de-ice it quickly.
You left the rubbing alcohol in the car, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It won't freeze.
Well, yes, but then when we need it again,
Oh.
it's inside the car.
I assume, yeah, we have more rubbing alcohol.
Laura Linneman notes, I'm a day behind because I missed yesterday. This gray is lovely. Which blend is it?
So the gray is gunmetal. It's a hand-carded bat. So it has Merino, BFL, Shetland, Gotland, and Corriedale in it, along with a tuss of silk and mulberry silk. When I was in the studio, I only got a couple hours in the studio today, and I was like, oh, I really, really want to go and make bat sets for gunmetal because everybody was so enthusiastic about it last night. But I had to finish up all my undercurrent bats.
Oh, no.
So that I can make my winter mint chocolate chip bats.
Yeah, you're really getting late for putting out your December.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Maybe I'll get it done on Sunday. I have to take people shopping tomorrow.
Amy said, I hated not having winter when we lived in Los Angeles. That's why we moved back to the Berg. Crankycraft says, it was 12 degrees the other morning, and today it was almost 60. Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Kathleen says, northern, I guess New Mexico,
yeah,
is some of my favorite climates. Summer that doesn't get past 90 often, snow half the year, but the roads usually melt by mid-afternoon.
That sounds lovely.
So you got to take advantage of the snow when it's there.
Yeah.
Get in a little bit sledding before work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's also allows you to have good knitwear. That's the other downside about California.
Yeah.
No opportunity to wear knitwear.
I feel sad for people who have no chance to wear cashmere.
Kathleen says, or you just have to know where the shady hills are, since snow sticks around there. Ah, okay.
So, because for a couple of years I was operating HipStrings out of a storage unit in the house. And all the inventory was in the storage unit. And it was a climate-controlled storage unit, but that means in the winter they keep it at, like, 55. And I had to have, like, the main door open to the outside because that was my way in. And so when that was going on, I basically thrifted a whole bunch of cashmere, and I lived in cashmere to do all my work.
Oh, my gosh, you're done already.
Yeah, I am.
Speed demon.
I've
Amy notes
spun this before.
Plenty of knitwear in LA, but it was mostly cotton. Yeah, you know what? I enjoyed, other than the cold, I enjoyed having that storage unit as the stock for HipStrings.
Yeah.
It worked pretty well, but
until they started raising my rent 30% every 3 months.
Yeah, every 3 months. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. And I couldn't get them to sign a longer lease.
Okay, so you got a fleece to talk about.
I do, and a beer to drink.
Fleece rhymes with fleece.
I am drinking Mad Elf by Trogs, which is my special Christmas beer every year. Okay, special fleece.
To remind us,
which I still need to scour. So this fleece is from my very first Maryland where I taught. So that would be, oh gosh, 3 years ago?
That sounds about right. That's what I was going to say.
2022, I think, was my first year. So this fleece is from 2022. I have not scoured it yet because I'm intimidated by it. I have a plan. I just need to implement. But this was a merino fleece from Jeff Rupert. And that is the staple length. So, I mean, it is seriously probably a little over 5 inches long. Teeny tiny crimp. There's a little bit of...
Show the full bag.
So I did split it with a friend. So it is a blue ribbon fleece. This does not... The sheep did not have a name. But I have half of it because nobody needs. It was a 7-pound fleece. 3.5 pounds of super fine merino fleece is probably a lifetime's quantity for me, because this will definitely get hand combed, and probably spun lace weight. But it is so nice. So that was my treat for myself, for my first year teaching at Maryland, because one of the special things of being a teacher at Maryland is that on Friday night, after all the fleece judging is done, your flyers.
I realized that. That's rude.
Teachers get to go in and pick 2 fleeces to buy before the fleece sale opens. So it's always a ton of fun, and it's always everybody being like, "Oh, so what did you get?" Because especially all the spinning instructors, all take advantage of their 2 fleeces.
Oh, of course. And you get to spy and tell everybody else what all the other fleeces are that you didn't buy.
Oh yes, and I mean, volunteers for the fleece show also get to buy fleeces, and they get to reserve stuff before we get ahead of them. And I've had some friends who volunteer for the fleece sale, show me their fleeces, and my jaw just dropped. One I remember a lot was a jet black, no sunburn, Targhee fleece that was, the staples were that long. And it was perfect. It looked like the sheep had never seen the outside. So, but there were only 2 fleeces in the entire sale.
So,
like that, and the volunteers grabbed it.
But what do you have to do differently with a fleece like that has such a longer staple length than what you're used to for that particular breed?
You're probably gonna comb rather than card, but it's, as long as it's a strong fleece. The big worry with a longer staple length like that is that maybe it has a break in it. Because anytime a fleece experiences stress, especially in a fine fleece, it can weaken the fleece enough so that when you go through the processing, it will mechanically break. And that, especially with a crimpy wool, can cause neps when you're carding. With combing, it'll create a lot of waste. So that's kind of the risk you take with a longer
staple,
especially if it's a fine wool. Usually long wools have long staples, but they're a more robust, higher diameter fleece. They're stronger. So they aren't likely to break. Usually I've only experienced breaks with fine fleeces.
So what is it about this particular fleece, for example, that made you confident that it's not going to experience breaks?
I know the shepherd and his reputation. And generally, now I only buy fine fleeces from shepherds who have a reputation for producing really good quality fine fleeces. I do not take chances on fine fleeces without word of mouth. Okay. I know people who know the shepherds and know who to buy from, and I always check with them. Because I've had too many cases where even if I ping, so sometimes people will be like, you can test the strength by going like this.
That's called pinging.
Yeah, and it should have a nice, distinct sound. And you shouldn't hear anything that sounds like Velcro. And I have definitely come across fleeces where I do this, and you hear this slight Velcro sound as some of them are breaking. They're ripping. Yeah. But I've had fleeces that I did that too, and then I went and I washed them, and then after they were washed, they broke. it showed that there was a weak point after washing. So yeah, I very much go on. I don't buy fleece sight unseen, and I buy finer fleeces by reputation.
So you said that you had some special plans for this particular fleece.
This one will become lace weight, and become something special, probably hand woven, because I am not a lace knitter. I don't think I'll ever be a lace knitter. But I can imagine weaving myself something very, a fine woolen scarf or stole or wrap or something. Or if I'm really adventurous, there's enough of it. Maybe even some yardage.
All right. I think we've beaten that.
Yeah,
horse.
I've talked enough about fleece.
Mm.
Or at least I've gone on enough without, anybody.
Well, you haven't gone on enough because I still have plenty of fiber to go.
So, but I usually pick up mid-20s fine wools. I actually really like higher micron merinos. As long as their lock structure's not too dense and they're not too greasy, they can actually be pretty nice to process. I think Cormo and Rambouillet are really tricky to process.
Why is that?
Because the lock structure is so dense, and they have so much like waxes and greases that are really hard to break through with a regular scour. Like, they take extra work, and you really have to open things up, and I tend to process in bulk. I find it's really hard to really clean a Cormo or Rambouillet. Rambouillet, I've had a lot of problems with hand processing. My favorite fleeces to get are fine Corriedales, because they're usually in kind of that mid-20s, so they usually can still be good for knitting and sweaters and stuff. You have a sweater made from a fine Corriedale fleece.
Which one?
The black one.
Oh.
And they're really lovely and easy to process. They're easy to scour. You can often just flick the tips open to spin them. Maybe if you can card them, you can comb them, slice, dice, julienne, and we have a lot of great fine Corriedale shepherds in the mid-Atlantic region. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of one where I am.
Amy says, I love the theory of getting a fleece, but scouring and processing myself stops me in the tracks. Kathleen says, I've got a couple of pounds of a Rupert's Corriedale, and it's just lovely.
Yeah, the Rupert's Corriedales are really nice. And he has really nice coated ones, and he also has uncoated Corriedales. And I mean, they're not. I'm using one right now to make bats. They're in my undercurrent bats. It's a Rupert's Corriedale that was from an uncoated. And I think I paid $15 a pound for it, and it's lovely to work with. So I think Corriedale sometimes gets a bad rap because it can be available kind of cheap, and a little bit higher micron, when it's the bulk process stuff, because Corriedale is also used as a meat sheep. They're big sheep. They're 100 plus, 150 pound sheep.
Oh, wow.
And they have huge fleeces. A 10-pound fleece is not uncommon for a Corriedale. But fine Corriedales are really, really nice fleeces to work with.
Kathleen notes, by the way, the one that she got is uncoated, and it's magical for uncoated.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any You talked a lot about things people should look for when they're looking at fleece. Are there any tools that people should bring with them to inspect the fleece or anything like that?
I mean, it's good to bring some hand sanitizer and maybe some gloves. Because sheep fleeces can actually carry botulism. So make sure you're up to date on your vaccinations. Especially since sometimes we impale ourselves with sharp metal things while working with fleece.
There's tetanus that you were worried about.
Tetanus too.
Yeah.
But they can carry tetanus and botulism.
Nice.
And nobody wants any of that.
2 terrible ways to die.
Yes. But yeah, usually pinging. I love, especially for people who are just getting into fleeces, I like going to fiber shows that either they have comments on the judging sheets for each fleece is judged, and they have comments. And so they can, like, somebody who should know what they're doing has looked at the fleece and judged it and said, this has good crimp, this has the right amount of VM, like this would be good for hand spinning, like does it have shortcuts? Rhinebeck does that. Also Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival. Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival actually has a skirting table at their fleece show, and if you want, you can grab a volunteer and they'll open up the entire fleece for you. And so sometimes when you're looking at fleeces, kind of what's at the top of the bag is the nicest stuff. And you don't necessarily get a sense of what the variability is in the fleece or how much VM is there. And I've, in moments of weakness, I have bought fleeces without carefully considering them, and have lived to regret it. I mean, it had poured for 2 days, and sales were abysmal, so I comforted myself with fleece. I'm still dealing with the aftermath of that decision.
Of the fleece decision?
Mm-hmm. It was like a 14-pound Hormocross fleece.
Oh, wow.
It is now a teaching fleece because it's a tippy fleece. And it had a lot more VM than I expected.
JM Knitter, by the way, says, I arrived a bit ago, went to the gym to stretch my stiff self. Anyone else having overuse pain this month?
I wonder why.
May use this Gorge Moonstone with gunmetal in a 2-color sweater.
Yeah.
That would be great.
It would be.
And Amy says, I got boosted for tetanus in January, so I'm good.
The best thing I did for myself for my overuse injuries, besides, taking it easy, is I got a paraffin.
What is taking it easy? I don't understand that phrase.
I got a paraffin wax bath for my hands, and that helped a ton because I get my thumb from going like this too much, from knitting or spinning. It hasn't happened in a couple years, but paraffin bath. Compression gloves also help.
You just like coating your hands in wax and then peeling it off.
I mean, it is kind of annoying to sit there for like 15 minutes or 20 minutes and not do anything with your hands.
Fair. At least you get the benefit of being able to peel it off.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, Elmer's glue.
No. Not like Elmer's glue.
But it's vaguely reminiscent of that satisfaction.
Jam and Knitter saying the Christmas gifts won't knit themselves. No, sadly they won't. I was going over curriculum with Gab for fashion school, and they were getting all excited because there was a knitwear design class. And then I had to break the news to them that it's not hand knit, or it's not traditional knitting they know. It's all on knitting machines. And they were like, that's not exciting.
Or it's working with knit fabrics.
It's more learning to design for knitting machines.
Well, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. I mean, they would have a little bit of a head start
Just a bit.
In that class, but you
Well-
start mechanizing things for Gab, and they're not interested. Their favorite sewing machine is like almost 100 years old right now.
And if it could have a pedal, Gab would use a pedal for it.
Yes, there are plans to go and grab. My mother has I think 1880s treadle sewing machine, and my mom has said that Gab can have it. We just have to come and pick it up. So.
Becky Nitz says, I hurt my hand and wrist on December 1st and had to take a break halfway through day 3. I'm going to try again in January. And that is perfectly fine.
That is a good plan. Do not hurt yourselves.
And do not push through it.
Don't push through it. It'll just do more damage.
That'll make it worse. But thank you for joining us for just watching. Okay. I'm not even almost there. I got like, I don't know, another 10 minutes or something.
So I'm running errands tomorrow and shopping. Like, what is your plans for tomorrow?
Cleaning the kitchen.
So that we can bake?
Yeah, so we can mess it up again. We gotta bake cookies this weekend.
Yeah, it is cookie weekend.
Yeah.
I confused the people at Piata.
Why is that?
So they were taking forever with my order, and at first somebody was just like, "Here, have a drink," since you've been waiting for so long. And then the order was finally ready, and the woman who's packing it was like, "You've been waiting so long. Do you want like a cookie or something?" And I was like, "No, I'm okay. He already gave me a drink." And she was just like, "Why would you turn down a free cookie?" Like, just like, I have better cookies at home.
Yeah. Although Piata is really good food.
It does. It is really good.
Their tagline is their Italian street food, and they're a pretty large chain. Although, like almost all the, there's only 2 Piatas left in Pittsburgh. There was a couple that shut down recently from lack of traffic.
It's really good quality food.
Yeah.
So.
But I think we've always had to wait longer than regular fast food for it.
Yes, because we always order online for pickup. If I don't have to talk to people, I'm gonna do it. And the thing you like most isn't even on their regular menu. You can only order it through their app.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The spicy Caesar
Yeah.
wrap? Yeah.
Or the Caesar wrap at all.
Really?
Those are only available through the app.
Maybe that's why it took so long, because it confused the people of like, what is this thing?
I always think it's weird when restaurants have like app-only specials. Because like Chipotle has app-only specials. There was a time when you could only get a quesadilla through the app.
What?
You can order a quesadilla.
That's crazy. That's such a basic.
Yeah. Do you think
staple.
that's a simple thing that for them to put together that they don't need like special notice?
Yeah.
I don't know. App ordering is amazing.
I'm locked
You're
in.
almost there.
No, I'm not.
You're doing really well though.
Yeah, I'm very consistent now.
Yeah.
I'm that's what I've been trying to push for this time, is to I'm going slow but consistently.
Yeah. You're spinning a little bit differently than you used to.
Yeah, I'm not doing my around the post thing.
Yeah.
Which I usually switch sometimes swap. What's the phrase I'm trying to switch it up?
Yeah.
I sometimes switch it up. But no, for this fiber,
Yeah.
this method of spinning is working well for me.
Good. It's almost a like short forward draw. But you are letting a little bit of twist.
Yeah.
But it's not making it all the way to fiber supply.
And I'm doing
'Cause you're
my
not
little
smoothing.
bit of untwist as well.
Yeah. And you're not smoothing.
What is smoothing? Is it like literally like running your hand along it like
Not
this?
that
or?
way. Usually back.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Oh.
No. You can't ever let go.
Yeah. Okay, that's weird. Okay, stop it. Ruining my spin here.
Teaching Nick worsted, and I don't like that.
I didn't like how thin
You
you were
and me
getting by
both.
single.
Though I will say, I had a friend visit, and who is a master of worsted spinning and hand comb top.
Just red?
Yes.
Yeah.
She came to visit, and her treat for me was for her to comb fiber for me. And I sat down to spin it, and I am not a worsted spinner. And my instinct how to spin this stuff was to spin worsted. And I didn't hate it. And the interesting thing was, after I let that hand comb top sit for a couple of days, weeks, really, I came back to it, and I was finding myself falling into my, thank you, into my old habits of how I usually spin. And it was fascinating to me that, like, the freshly prepared top demanded to be spun a certain way. And it was it was a pleasure to spin it that way. And then once it had rested, like, it didn't have that same demand on me, which I thought was really fascinating.
Good night, Christopher.
Good night.
Good night.
Christopher came down to say goodnight to us, it seems. And I got distracted.
So just wanted to check on you.
Thank you. So.
Yeah, I just tried with the smoothing, and it's so weird because you're not.
It's totally different. It feels totally different.
Well, yeah, because you're not. The drafting is so completely separate from the spin at that point.
Yeah. So it's draft and then twist.
Yeah, but the drafted part needs to go between your fingers in order for it to get the twist, which that's weird. I don't know. I'm not gonna switch things up in the middle of the spin, but
no, you shouldn't.
But I might try it some more later. But it's
I'll give you some fiber that demands
it.
Yeah, like this is why I like giving people Wensleydale to spin.
Okay.
You can't, like, you're gonna have a bad day if you let twist into your drafting with Wensleydale.
Is that because it's got such
because it has such a long staple length and it has such low crimp, so twist travels really fast in the fiber. So, like, it's going, if you let twist into your drafting triangle, you're almost always going to get it into your fiber supply. It's going to create a slub. You're not going to be able to draft anymore. It's going to lock everything up. So it really, like, worsted is the way to go.
Well, I guess I realized I'm very used to only spinning shorter staple lengths.
And crimpy stuff, yeah. Where twist doesn't travel as quickly in really crimpy wools.
Well, how does silk fit in with that, though?
So, like, mulberry silk?
Yeah.
I spin it worsted because the twist travels so fast in mulberry. It has no crimp. It has, like, the twist travels really quick. It forms connections. You will get slubs. You will get inconsistency. It's really hard to spin silk comb top in a non-worsted draft.
By the way, Kathleen says, I spun Wensleydale point of contact just because I was told not to and didn't hate it, although it was harder.
So, it's possible, but it is harder. You really have to be paying attention and being right on top of not letting that twist into your fiber supply.
Almost there.
Tiniest little bird left in your hand.
Bird? Is that what it's called?
No. Well, people talk about, like, holding the fiber in your hand like it's a baby bird.
That's what I would say.
You're not the only one.
Hard enough so that It won't jump out of your hand, but not so hard that you're going
You
to crush
squish it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't squish the fiber.
Okay. Let me get my handy dandy twist lock.
And your fiber matches your twist lock again today.
Yep. There we go. And I need a quick reminder.
Why do you need a reminder for your dad joke?
Chemo brain. So, did you know they found out that bees are actually allergic to pollen?
What?
Yeah, that's why they break out in hives.
Good night, y'all.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you here tomorrow
For day 9.
You got to remember to put up a listing.
Yeah, and I will put up the next 3 streams.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.